Hello, and welcome to Around the Political World with John Ruffman. I am your host, John Ruffman. If you're a fan of the show, make sure to hit the follow button on the top right of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you are listening at this very moment. When you hit follow, leave a review or share an episode with a friend. It helps other people discover the show, keeps us going, and as I like to remind you each and every day, it expands our base. The Republicans had their third night of convention last night. It was a big night. Senator Vance introduced himself to the nation in what was a very solid presentation about his life, his background, and why he supports Donald Trump. There is no question but that Vance will be an effective candidate for vice president. And tonight, we will tune in to hear Donald J. Trump accept the Republican nomination for president for the third time. This is Trump's opportunity to present himself to the American people after post-assassination attempt. He will have the opportunity to soften what some view as his harsh rhetoric, and will have an opportunity to present himself and his running mate and the Republican Party to the American people in a rebranded version. He has already done a masterful job of constructing the Republican National Convention. It isn't really a convention in the old sense of the word. When you really had debates and arguments, this was a lockstep convention, a convention which is more of an infomercial than it is a real political gathering. And so, tonight, all eyes will be on Donald Trump, for him or against him. Let me remind you, the polls now show him winning against Joe Biden. Let me point out that he is ahead in most of the swing states. I know the margins are narrow, but it means that Donald Trump remains a formidable force, a potential president of the United States, and all of the issues that he brings with him will be debated in this election. What does it mean for the Republican Party? It means the party is now rebranded. There was no dissent at the Republican convention. It was purely a lockstep performance, as I said, an infomercial for Donald J. Trump. And that, my friends, is the real question for the Republicans. If they don't expand their base, they know what their rough percentages are. But it's not a national vote that matters. It's the swing states that matter. And that is where all the energy will be directed. You heard Senator Vance repeatedly refer in his address to Michigan, to Pennsylvania, and to the major swing states in the Rust Belt or in the Midwest, which are going to be critical for a Republican victory. And now, let us turn from the Republicans to the Democrats. Yesterday was a dramatic day. Adam Schiff, member of Congress, candidate for the United States Senate, essentially said Joe Biden can't win. And he's getting the same heat now privately from Nancy Pelosi, from Chuck Schumer, and from Hakeem Jeffries, the leadership of the Democratic Party in the House and Senate. And so Joe Biden is now confronted with a major decision, which he will have to make very soon. Will he or will he not seek re-election as President of the United States? And that is the question, ladies and gentlemen, pure and simple. Now, what does it mean for the Democrats? They have time to replace Joe Biden. And as I've said, the person who will be the new nominee if Biden steps out will be Kamala Harris. And that means the Democrats will have 4 months in which to package their candidate in a clear, precise fashion. And they will have to present Kamala as the alternative to Donald Trump. Now, this is all a very complicated business because things are happening we never would have anticipated. Joe Biden developing COVID and having to leave Las Vegas and return to Rehovot, where he is recovering. It'll be a quick recovery, we're told. It is a mild case. But, and let's be clear, it shows his age and his health are critical in this campaign. Interestingly enough, we are told that Joe Biden is not saying what he will do, but he asked a critical question to his advisors. Can Kamala win? And that may be what it all comes down to. As soon as the Republican convention ends tonight, the speculation will increase, the pressure will increase on Joe Biden. It is not easy to give up power. Remember that power is the ultimate aphrodisiac. And clearly, Joe Biden relishes, enjoys being president. He likes being at the center of the action. So I will make this prediction. If Joe Biden chooses, because of pressure within his own party, not to be a candidate in November, Kamala Harris will embrace Joe Biden and his legacy. And if Joe Biden is fit and able, he will be out on the campaign trail with Kamala Harris, and they will try to sell to the American people the idea that although he's stepping out as president, he will still have a presence in a Harris administration. Why do I say that? Because the Democrats are bound to the Biden administration and its accomplishments, and yes, its failures. How does that recalibrate the Republican campaign? They will simply intensify their attacks on the Biden-Harris administration, and they will point out all of the negatives about Kamala Harris. Interestingly enough, the Democrats only have a short time to repackage, recalibrate, and represent the Harris candidacy should it come to that. The other great question will be, who will Harris take as her vice presidential nominee? I'm going to suggest, and I know I'm sticking my neck out, Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is a swing state. It is an important state in terms of electoral votes, and the Democrats cannot afford to lose Pennsylvania. Adding Governor Shapiro to the ticket would strengthen the Democrats' opportunity to take Pennsylvania. All of this is hard, pragmatic politics. Remember, when the Republican convention is over and the Democrats finally make their decision, everybody will focus on the swing states. Who will be the next president matters. And certainly, what we have seen at the Republican convention shows a stark contrast with the Democrats. How will the American people make that decision? Will it be as close as everybody says it will be? Isn't it true that the greatest soap opera in American life is not football, not baseball, it's politics? And the thing is, once the votes are counted, you know who really won. What do you think? This is John Rothman, and I want to thank you for tuning into another episode. Make sure to follow along. Let me know your thoughts on the show by leaving a review on Apple Podcasts and having the opportunity to share an episode with a friend. It expands our base, which is, of course, the goal of this podcast. If you want to interact, you can go to Facebook or to LinkedIn. We try to read all the comments. And, of course, I want to say a special word of thanks to Gogo Zoger, the wonderful producer. We'll be watching tonight. It is a fascinating time to be alive for a political junkie. See you tomorrow, right here on Around the Political World with John Rothman.